how important is it, and this is probably more aimed at salespeople, maybe even sales leaders listening to this, going through difficult days, probably we've all been there in sales. Why am I doing this? How important is it, do you think, for people to have a why that's as strong as yours?
I think it's vital, absolutely vital. And look, a lot of people they'll say, "Well, I want to earn money," right? That is like top of that's surface, right? No one does it because they want a lot of money. Because often I'll say to people, "Okay, so if I could give you triple your salary today, triple your salary to do a job, would you do it?" And often, Carl, they'll say, "What's the job?" So when they say, "What's the job?" immediately money's not their motivator. Otherwise, they wouldn't ask what the job is. They'll just do it, right? So I think the key is, if it's money, right, or you believe it's money, why? What are you going to do with that money? What will that money allow you to do for you, your family, your friends, whatever? And once you know that, why are those things important to you? So I think it's vital, but it's not easy to find. And I think you've got to really search deep to know what it is, and question and question and question. And when you get it, I think it will change your life in terms of your real drive as a sales leader, as an entrepreneur, business owner, salesperson. And if you're visual like me, create a visual. In front of me, I've got visuals in my office you can't see that says Happy Looney, E plus R equals O. And then I've got Happy Looney broken down in with a picture of my dad's boat on this board. And I finally have a picture of a little whale in front of me because I'm obsessed with this metaphor I use of whale. And I finally have this I love you, which was done by my gorgeous daughter. She put Happy Looney and she put I love you. And that's in front of me because she likes doing art for me, and I think it's sweet.
Well, I've got to ask about the whale. Tell us a little bit more around that and the meaning behind it.
So the whale came in 2007, I think, is when I understood the whale metaphor. And in a summary, it's a long story, but in a summary, I met a man called Ian McLean, who was a franchise director for Belvoir, which is a massive established franchise. I met him, talk about training. He said no. 6 months later, I met a guy called Eric Hall, who was the MD at the time of Northwood, who also said no for training. 6 months later, Eric called me and booked me for a speaking conference for Northwood, their first conference. In the audience, a guy called Dorian, who is the MD of Belvoir, now the MD of Property Franchise Group. They're massive, biggest franchise in the country. They booked me. In the conference of Belvoir, a lady called Michelle booked me. Michelle's partner Liz, her husband, booked me. And it went on and on and on. That was about £2.1 million of business. Ian McLean, who said no to me in 2007, was my whale. I didn't spot it. So my whale is the biggest deal you'll ever do. And I land two whales every year, right? But I never know when I'm going to land a whale. And what's interesting for me is the reason I'm on it on every call is every call could be the whale. Often it's not the whale, it's who they're connected to is the whale. So Ian was connected. It's Eric Walker, by the way, not Eric Cole. I'm still in touch with Eric now. But Ian was my whale because of his connection, Eric's connection, and it went so on and so forth. So for me, I trace back every deal I've ever done, and there's always a way to trace it back to think, you know what, I've just landed this £2 million sale, all on the back of meeting that person 2 years ago. And for me, that's my driver that I'm always looking for the whale.
Love that. So, any salespeople listening to this, where is your next whale coming from? That's the question
Absolutely.
that I would ask.